Hi everyone and welcome to another edition of Checking It Out from the Panthers office with the GMB. Slightly different feel to the show this week. My big guest, my main guest, my only guest in the studio here at the Panthers office is head coach Corey Nielsen. Good to have you, Corey.
Great to be here.
We're going to do in a bit what we call the sit rep, the situation report. Corey spent most of his life on military bases, didn't know what the heck we were talking about. So we filled him in. We're going to ask him to do a half-term report. We just had half-term. Boy, did you dress up for Halloween in half-term. But first, Corey, let's look ahead. Halloween last week, bonfire weekend this week, and it's the Belfast Giants. It's a barn burner.
Yeah, obviously Belfast, another great hockey team. I think they're first in the league right now. Obviously they have some games at hand on us, but very dangerous side that's obviously explosive offensively, as are we, and they score a lot of goals. They concede a lot, but they score a lot. So we just know we got to go out there and do our thing and not allow them to score goals, take away their D. Their D are obviously a big part of it. That Derek Walser is an obviously amazing hockey player. So be physical on him, wear him out, and shut them down.
You mentioned Walser there. It's his first year as player coach, and he's adjusting, and you can see it in the results. You can see it in the performances. They're not top of the standings for nothing. He will continue to adjust, so you have to be aware of that. Every time you play them, they might be a little bit better than last time.
Yeah. From experience, it's a tough job. It's a very difficult job, especially as an offensive defenseman. So I know what he's kind of going through. You're out there, you're doing your thing, and as an offensive defenseman, you've got to do some crazy things. That's part of your role, part of your job on the ice. At the same time, you want to lead by example and all that stuff, and you have to learn the system because. As a defenseman, he's been a defenseman his whole life. You have to kind of learn what forwards do. And it's not that easy. I don't know if he played forward. I was lucky enough to have played forward in different situations, so I had a little bit of basic understanding. And thankfully, I had a guy like Bruce Richardson to help me out in that situation. But it's a unique job. Hopefully, he's got someone good on the bench to help him out. Or hopefully not when he plays us. But it is certainly a challenge.
Hopefully you can hear all those sirens in the background just to prove that we're actually in the Panthers office. It's been a few episodes since they last turned up like that. Turning up this week, and they beat us last time, remember. They've already been here. There was an overtime win. The likes of Brandon Benedict, the likes of Jonathan Boxhill. Walser will be talking to them to get inside stories on you and how you do it. You know, we heard from Matthew earlier in the series saying that he was telling you about Cardiff, and it reminded him of 12 months earlier when he was telling Andrew Lord in Cardiff about Nottingham and what have you. So guys like Boxhill and Benedict will be back. I'm not sure about Higgins. Is he still injured?
I'm not certain, but I know Boxy and Benny. Benny's obviously part of their coaching team there, but those are two guys that obviously as a coach I'm very, very proud of. Boxy came from a small background and came in and basically learned the ropes, and it's actually a real pleasure to watch him play hockey now. His fundamentals, he's attention to detail. Benny was a rock star when he came, and we helped him a little bit, but he's always been a star. So those are two great players and two guys who are not typically offensive contributors, but now we're playing primary roles on their power plays in different situations. So it's really nice to see, obviously, Boxy's development and Benny's continued success.
As I say, it was an overtime win for the Belfast Giants. You'll be hoping to go one better this time against them. One thing about Boxy, we are hoping it's a charity thing, isn't it? I mean, he doesn't come to the games looking like something out of the Matrix for fun, does he? I mean, that's a bet or a charity thing. He will get a haircut at some point.
I don't really want to comment on that. All I know is that he's got a sparkling personality, and I think that's one of the things you typically do say.
Yeah, and he's a good guy as well. He was so pleased and appreciative of the applause we got for him and Benny when they came back in that first game. Hopefully they'll be cheered off the ice at the end of a defeat this weekend. The reason we've got a slightly different format this week with Corey as our only guest is because the boys are away on a bonding mission at the moment. They've gone to see Manchester United play.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hammered last week by Middlesbrough, but I just mentioned that as an aside.
I don't know if they need any more bonding. These guys are. I mean, it's amazing. This team, it really is, and it's fun to go to work every day because they're there early. They work super hard in practice. They're positive. They're upbeat. They stay together after practice. They go out after games together, and obviously only the Sunday games. But it just seems to be a great group who really loves each other, and it's another opportunity for them to get out. It's a midweek game. We had obviously the Sunday off. We worked Monday, worked Tuesday. I'll give them tomorrow off, and then we'll be back to work Thursday, Friday.
Hope the practice continues to go well. One guy in the lineup this weekend will be Jeff Waugh. I'm going to miss him on commentary duty. Eddie's going to miss him on commentary duty. He's been great on commentary, colour commentary, never done it before in his life. So at the game last weekend, I took time out during one of the intervals to catch up with our own Jeff Waugh. Defenceman Jeff Waugh has been keeping himself busy helping in the commentary booth with both myself and Eddie Suiki. But I think we've seen the last of him for a while, and hopefully we've seen the last of him for the whole of the season from the commentator's booth perspective, because he should be back on the ice this weekend against the Belfast Giants.
Yeah, that's the plan. It's obviously been fun doing this with you, Gary, but I'm obviously really excited to get back out on the ice and help the boys. It's hard sometimes watching, especially games like this Sheffield game, where you really want to be out there and helping out and putting on a show for the fans. But yeah, really looking forward to it, and that's the plan next Saturday against Belfast.
So during the week, it's been a case of getting back to more contact, as it were. I know you've been skating, I've seen you out there. You're not going to be match fit, obviously, but the ribs feel okay now?
Yeah, they're feeling okay. Just sort of getting better day by day and just progressing. That's sort of the way I'm taking it. The first couple of times I went on after practice and sort of got a skate in with Strax or Corey, getting the hands back, getting the legs back, and obviously sort of trying to get the cardio back, and then jumped into a pregame skate and then a practice and another pregame skate. So like you said, next week we'll keep cranking it up, do a full practice and whatnot, and be ready for Saturday against Belfast.
Are you like the average professional? You hate being on the sidelines?
Oh yeah, it's obviously not fun, and as I said, it's been an experience up here with you, but I'm really excited to get back out on the ice and help the guys out as best I can.
You've been quite good on the commentary. In fact, you've been very good. So, I mean, have you got experience? Have you done anything like that before?
No, actually, I haven't. So, actually, it has been fun and in that retrospect. But no, I guess I'm a sociable guy. I'm a talker, I guess some people say. But as far as sort of commenting on the game here and there, I just do a little bit. You're the man who controls everything, so I just sort of say a couple of things here and there. I don't know if it's right or wrong, but either way, it's been fun.
Has the injury been an opportunity for you to take in Nottingham, or have you been busy with your Loughborough University studies?
Yeah, sort of busy, sort of right when I got out of the hospital there. So the first week I was sort of not moving at all, right? So it hasn't been just a lot of downtime for a while there. It actually wasn't fun at all. And then you're still coming to the rink, so you're still here, you know, you want to be around the guys, and eventually you're sort of getting into bikes and other workouts, so you still have time here. And then as you mentioned there, I'm sort of really busy with my studies up at Loughborough. But no, my fiance and I really love it here, and yeah, I can't say enough positive things about Nottingham on and off the ice.
It's great to have you, both in the organisation as a commentator, but better still to have you as a defenceman out there on the blue line. And we're hoping, folks, that the likes of Stephen Schultz and Robert Farmer will make swift recoveries and soon be joining Jeff back in the lineup. That's Jeff Waugh, as I say, we're going to miss him in the commentary box, but we have missed him down on the ice as well. We've got more coming up, starting with analysis of the win over Sheffield with me and Corey Nielsen right after this break.
The new Fiat 500, the Icon Reloaded. In Fiat showrooms now.
Whatever your white good needs, whether it's sales or repairs, choose Jim Grice, Sutton in Ashfield. With nearly 50 years of family business experience with all major brands, we'll make sure you take home the product that fits your needs, with no hidden extras. Choose Jim Grice, Sutton in Ashfield. Friendly family business that cares. Nearly 50 years speaks for itself.
I'm Jeff Dimon, and you're watching Checking It Out from the Panthers office with the GMB.
Ice hockey, the world's fastest team sport, played in Nottingham by the GMB Nottingham Panthers. For tickets and fixtures, visit panthers.co.uk.
Welcome back to Checking It Out with the GMB. Corey and me have moved over to the screen to have a look at the analysis. Dan Green's away with the boys at Manchester United. Evan Mosey's actually on a school visit with Eddie. That's why Eddie isn't on the gallery this week. But we'll be hearing from Eddie in just a moment with a rather special interview. But first, Corey, the Steelers took a 2-goal lead against us.
Well, the first goal was simple. I mean, we had 3 of our players behind their net. They wrapped it around. Our defenseman pinched down, and we have a specific rule on that. You can't go unless you're guaranteed to keep the puck in, or else someone tells you to go. I mean, this goal, turnover, neutral zone, tracking back, everyone shutting off, and a dynamite shot by them. It's a nice goal.
Wasn't a great first period from the Panthers. You said so at the time, and you thought the boys were skating around like they were dragging pianos on their backs.
Yeah, we were slow to react, but at the same time, I thought Sheffield's were good. We just turned pucks over. The more I watched the tape, the more I don't think we were as bad as maybe I thought we were. But at the same stage, both teams were really poor defensively.
Second period, the Panthers came out and did get a goal back, so that must have relieved the pressure somewhat. But immediately, the Sheffield Steelers came back into it again.
Well, I mean, they're a
still
good
first
hockey
period,
team. This is obviously the penalty here. I thought Swinney got good body position on Chris Lawrence there and just pushed him into the boards, established position. But I don't know if the referee was late getting up the ice. Those calls can go either way. I thought, for the most part, he's a young guy who did a pretty good job. He let the teams decide the outcome of the game, which is nice. I prefer that. So
that reminded me of the Brad Moran penalty in Cardiff in overtime. It's a bit of a foot race. Yeah. One gets in front, leans on the other guy.
Yeah, it's all things considered, and I'm not really all that worried about that. I believe this is
second period.
Yeah, second period. Here's our goal. Linger wins a 50-50 battle, and then you give Brad Moran the puck here, and good things happen. You watch him in practice every day, and we talk about consistency and good habits. Some guys go down on 2-on-1s, and we build a lot of our offense around creating 2-on-1s. And he gets a scoring opportunity every time. He makes good decisions, and he does this little thing with his wrists here. See how he's really deceptive, how he gets that puck over there, and stopping at the net. You're right, Kolnick. Always good things happen.
And Coco makes sure he puts it as far out of reach of Plant as he can. Of course, Plant's got injured in this one. He couldn't play the whole of the game the next night, and now Sheffield are looking for a replacement perhaps for him. But that got Panthers on the board, and then 59 seconds later, the Steelers stunned the crowd back into silence.
Well, it was a fantastic piece of individual skill. Here's a cute little play here. They break our 2-on-2. They just move it together. Our trap is, the F1's dictating. F2 doesn't attack the red line here, and they get the red line. You never want to give them a free red line. And we get the puck in, and just from here, it's.
They're pressing well, aren't they? It's like a basketball.
They just skated. They skated really well. They were quick to react. 2 guys caught in on the forecheck. They zip it out, and that was a consistent theme all night long. We turned the puck over there. That could have been an offside. But those kind of plays right there, it was just sloppy. And then we get a great scoring opportunity. I remember it vividly, and then we lose a 50-50 battle there. They get the puck. They come down the ice. We get a stick on it. He loses his stick, Jeff Dimon, and they get the puck here. I think this is O'Connor just whips it in front, and what a great bit of individual skill. You wonder why
hand-eye coordination.
I wonder why this guy gets. But obviously our forward there, Ollie, was tracking in D-zone coverage. He's supposed to be between that guy in the net, between Juan and the net, and that's just a thing that he's learning every day. He's a good kid. He works hard, and those are the details we talk about. Attention to details.
So Panthers trailing by 2 for the second time in the game. You hadn't given up though.
Yeah, but we get it back. A quick face-off play here, design play. Obviously, he gets it over. And everyone thinks this is it's Matthew Myers who always does everything. He wins a face-off, gets to the net, takes away the goalie's eyes. If he can't see the puck, he can't stop it. It's simple. Can't see it, can't stop it, and can't control his rebounds. And it's a part of our offense that we work on every day. And he got a little piece of that, I believe.
He was credited with the goal, but he's a big man, and he's a big kid, and people try to hit him, and they bounce off him and think, I wish I hadn't done that.
Yeah. Well, it's a basic concept. I mean, eventually the puck is going to the net. So if I was a forward and I was an offensive player and I like to score goals, I know if I just stand there, it's coming to me at some point. It's got to go through me to score.
So it's 3-2.
3-2.
Panthers pressing. It was a big 3 minutes.
Yeah, a lot of momentum here. And again, you'll see guys winning 50-50 battles, coming out. Again, Matthew Myers right in the mix. Could have been a penalty there. Nice little bit of individual skill. We keep the puck in. Again, contact. When you talk about contact, when he makes this hit here, he's the first guy back. It happens. Cute little play by Stevie, quick wraparound, and look who's in front of the net. Doesn't happen by accident, and he works on it every single day. He stops in front of the net at every drill. He doesn't just shoot the puck and go to the back of the line like a lot of hockey players.
Fans are up on their feet. Panthers have tied the game. They'd come from 2 goals down to 1-2. They'd come from 2 goals down to 3-3. And there's to be an even bigger scream on Halloween.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you've ever played in these games, and I had the privilege to play in it, when our crowd gets going like this, it's unstoppable. It's unstoppable because everyone feeds on it, and it's really something not just to watch, but something to be a part of. The hair stands in the back of your neck. This is the face-off right away after, and
Did well on the draw all night long.
Yeah,
even in that first period.
Yeah, and this is how we got the energy. We start pursuing. They start doing one-on-one situational plays. We get up the ice. Great piece of individual skill here. They end up back pressure, and he wins a puck back, and then Bomber slides in here late. Got Coco here. It's a 3-on-1 at the net.
And don't forget, Bomber was the one that was knocked down at their end of the ice at the
Gets
start
up
of that
and
move.
pursues, yeah. But, we got a lot of guys. It's talk about competitiveness and second efforts and never giving up. And a lot of them, this is a triangle here. He's powerless. And it's all because, as a team, they're tracking back and they don't stop. They guess their guys getting the puck and they're going on. Everyone thinks they're going on offense, and we turn it over. And that's when we score a lot of goals.
And that came late in the second period, and it meant Panthers had come from behind to lead going into the final period.
Yep.
And it brought momentum to the team in that third and final period.
Yeah, this is obviously the fifth goal. Was close to offside, obviously went through the net. Unfortunately, we don't show the original 2 clips. I mean, it was something that was indicative all night. They went D to D and got out of our zone and beat our forecheck quite often. The 2 clips before, we messed up on our forecheck. We ended up turning it over at our own blue line and coming back. And Matthew makes a great play, takes a guy on, and Mo drills it through the net. He's so fast, he gets up the ice. It's pretty special.
From 300 feet away, my 59-year-old eyes didn't cope, but Matt and Mark have got a camera right behind, and you can see it go straight through the netting in a similar position to a goal went through last year. Possibly the same area of the netting, maybe it's a bit weak or whatever, but I thought it had possibly hit the post because obviously there was no red light came on and it was a wicked shot, but then when you see it there's absolutely no doubt whatsoever. Irrevertible truth, it went through the net.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It happens in practice, but that's with the old nets, and you expect it with the old nets. But this is a brand new net. It's a faulty. They must have got a lemon. It's you can't really fault the National Ice Center. That's a brand new stitching.
Not always blaming anyone. It happens in any game.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just it's unfortunate.
Linger's having a chat.
Well, I'll leave that to him to explain what they're chatting about. But
there's the cheer.
I'm sure it was cordial.
Corey Nielsen with the analysis. Now, normally we'd be handing over to Eddie on the gallery. He's away on the school visit, as I said, with Evan Mosey, while the rest of the boys are visiting Manchester United and Wayne Rooney. But instead, we got Eddie to venture into dangerous territory, enemy territory. He's only been talking to Huey and John Boy, Jason Hewitt and Jonathan Phillips from the Sheffield Steelers.
I'm here with longtime Steelers, Jonathan Phillips and Jason Hewitt. Both of you have plenty of experience between Nottingham and the Sheffield rivalry. Can you pick up perhaps a highlight of the rivalry games, any from your career?
I think any game we've won. I think the playoff finals is one. But to be honest, every single game is a huge match, and as you said, is a massive rivalry. And these games feel like playoff finals every time we meet. So.
Jason, do you remember your very first Panthers versus Steelers game? Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I'd actually just come from a short stint in Basingstoke, so it was my first game for the Steelers, and I had some old dusty used gloves, and it was here, so it was always going to be a battle. But yeah, there's been so many of these games, they've all merged into one. Like Jonah says, every game's like a final, and there's no different this year. There's 2 good teams going out.
Now, Jono, you are the captain, and you have new imports coming every year. What do you tell your new guys about when they come to this arena, National Ice Center? Do you tell them anything special to instruct them?
To be honest, it's something as soon as they sign, and I'm sure it's the same when the Nottingham guys sign too. As soon as they sign in the summer, then that's the first thing they kind of hear about. And as soon as we start meeting up in late August, that's the first kind of questions they ask is, they've heard about the rivalry games and what it's like, and you just got to tell them wait until them games, and you just got to experience it for yourself, because the atmosphere in both buildings are fantastic, and it's it's definitely a joy to play in.
You mentioned there the atmosphere, and I want to ask you, Jason, about that atmosphere. Being against here, you have that little block over there who are supporting you, and it's great to see so many orange jerseys over there. But is it difficult with so many fans perhaps feeling a bit hostile towards you in this building?
I love it. It's great. I mean, this is one of the loudest buildings in the league for sure. And I heard guys comment, new guys this year, and you can't hear yourself think, even shouting for passes and stuff. It's so intense. It's a great event every time we come here, and unfortunately we get to do it many times every year. So you win some, you lose some, but you're on the edge of your seat the whole time. There's no time to relax. So the atmosphere in both buildings, like Johnny says, is unreal, but it's definitely the games to be in, these ones.
I'm going to put you guys on the spot here now. Could you tell me just one word, describe the rivalry in just one word? You first, Jono.
Intense.
Intense. Jason?
I would say fierce.
Intense and fierce. We like that. Thank you for Jono.
Thank you.
And Jason for coming here.
No problem. Thank
and,
you.
Good luck in the future to you.
Thank you.
See you again.
Whatever your white good needs, whether it's sales or repairs, choose Jim Grice, Sutton in Ashfield. With nearly 50 years of family business experience with all major brands, we'll make sure you take home the product that fits your needs, with no hidden extras. Choose Jim Grice, Sutton in Ashfield. Friendly family business that cares. Nearly 50 years speaks for itself.
Amore. Subito.
Say hello to the all-new Fiat 500X. The Italian crossover, ready for action in all Fiat showrooms from April 24th.
I'm Evan Mosey. You're watching Checking It Out from the Panthers office with the GMB.
Hi and welcome back to Checking It Out from the Panthers office with the GMB, with me, Gary Moran, and head coach Corey Nielsen. Just before we get that sit-rep situation report, Corey, if you remember from the top of the show, it's where you think we're at the moment. A couple of charity things to mention. It's the Teddy Bear Toss, not this week against Belfast, the following Saturday against Coventry. Hopefully we score a goal, and that's when you lob all the soft toys, wrapped in plastic, please, onto the ice. We've got the Sally Army helping us. Some of them will be going to hospital. Needy kids. You were fantastic last year. You set the bar for other clubs, and we're hoping you're going to do the same thing again this year. So at the Coventry game on the 14th, a week on Saturday, it's Teddy Bear Toss time. At this game against Belfast, these little babies are coming into play, and that is the 1946 design shirt, Corey.
Oh, wow.
They're special. Black and white, as you can see. Logo, we had to draw it up, but we kind of used some of the influences from our later logos, because the original one, there isn't a great photograph of it. Bless them, all the sponsors. We've moved their logos onto the sleeves, so it's a nice clean cut design. We're going to wear it at the Christmas game. We're going to wear it at the New Year's Eve game against Coventry. And then the game-worn shirts will be auctioned.
Beautiful.
And that will basically form the bulk of our fundraising for the big charity this year. All the details in the magazine this week and on the website and what have you. But replica shirts, put your orders in with the girls at the East Midlands Train sponsored VIP desk this weekend. We've had 70 done. Nice. See what we did with that? 70 years?
Yeah, got it.
70. How much are they going to be sold for?
70 quids.
Correct, 70 quids. I love the way you put an S on the end of quids.
It's not one quid, it's more than one
70 quids,
yeah,
correct.
Obviously.
It's,
yeah.
you know.
Math.
Yeah. Yeah, literally correct.
Yeah, thank you.
But we'd say 70 quid.
I understand.
Okay, 70 quid, different sizes, first come, first served. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, not only we get rid of the 70, but you would have wanted more, but we can't do more because that's the gag, 70 for 70. They will pay for the game worn shirts at least, and then every penny from the auction, when we do it after the new year, will go to the charity, and it's a great cause this year. Like I say, read about it on the website. Let's hear about your sit rep. It was half-term, situation report. Where do you think we're at? Let's start with the goalies.
The goaltending situation is excellent. Obviously, Meek he's done a heck of a job. I mean, kind of an unknown. Got some great reports on him. The best thing when I recruited him is I knew he was a competitor. It's a lot like Craig Kowalski in that fact. He hated losing. He loved to win. He wanted the net. Wanted to be in there. I told him about the load he'd have to carry and how they start a lot of games, and he said, "That's okay. I love it. I love playing." You watch him even in practice. He never gives up on pucks, and sometimes I have to sit him for practice just because he works so hard, and we find out that he's overtraining at times. So, he's a guy who, all year long, whenever we've made mistakes, he's bailed us out, and we hope it continues.
And Dan Green, ever reliable.
Dan's my guy.
He jumps in.
Oh,
he's
Dan,
fantastic in the room. He's great with us normally.
Checking it out. Yeah, obviously.
When he's not watching Manchester United.
Yeah, no, Dan's our guy. You know what? Nobody really knows what backup goaltenders endure. I mean, everyone goes down, shoots on the number one goalie, and when they come back on the backup, they're always going high gloves and right over the shoulders and those spots in a game that you normally shoot hard and heavy.
But you don't risk it against.
You don't risk it against your starter because you don't want to take him one in the neck or any of those areas. And Dan takes a lot of that heat. He's pretty bulletproof, and he's a guy. He competes as well in practice, and he works hard every day. And he's a great guy to be around. He's a great team guy. So yeah, we're thrilled to have him. Right,
let's move on to the defense. Obviously, Jeff Wahr's absence when he blocked a shot. I mean, you look at the injuries we've had, Corey. There's no trend. They're all just like not freak accidents, but they're all fluky accidents, aren't they? You block a shot and it breaks 2 ribs. I know Mika was joking on the couch. I don't know why he did it. I had it covered anyway. But Lacko was hurt when he was hit by a shot.
Flamingo though. It was a flamingo. Yeah, he tried to get out of the way, and that's what happens when you try and get out of the way. Sometimes it hurts. So.
Yeah, and if they don't wear shot blockers because they're not comfortable in them on top of the skates. But that's another topic you and I have had with the players. The defence, no Jeff Wahr for a while. You got him back. And that changes the dynamic straight away, doesn't it? Because, this weekend you might be using him sparingly because it's his first game back, and perhaps you're easing him back into it. But when you add Jeff Wahr to the first line with Dimon, it means you've got a different pairing on the second line. You've got Swindlehurst and Lee, the 2 fantastic British defensemen, together throughout this, but they're not numbered necessarily going out their second line. They're going third or first or wherever. It depends where you want to match them up.
I never look at it in terms of lines, and a lot of people do. Most coaches in the world do. I never look at it. I look at chemistry and pairings and guys who were playing well that night, guys who aren't. When Wazzy went out, obviously Mo moved back, and that's a big change. To change the dynamic of your team because your fastest player was on forward, now he's on D, and Mo brings a little bit of both in both positions. So it's. We'll see what we do with him this weekend. He might continue to play D to help out while Jeff Wahr's there, but you got a guy like Sam Oakford who's put in some valuable, great minutes for us and done a great job. So, yeah, we're happy with where we are at that position. We find that as a group, their strength is without the puck, and it's the same kind of template we had in that 3 years ago when we won the championships. We had basic D who moved the puck, kept it simple, stayed on the blue line, and did their jobs, and were excellent without the puck, separated down low, and these guys do that real well.
We saw that speed from Evan Morsey, and he hits the puck so hard it sometimes goes straight through the net when we were doing the analysis earlier in the show. Now we're on to the forwards, whether Evan's a forward or a defenseman. Got some veterans there who really look like they know what they're doing on the ice, and they very much know what they're doing off the ice. I often see you right down at the gym just doing that extra work to make sure he's as fit as he can possibly be. I've talked to him several times, and you mentioned he's an NHL veteran, more games than anybody else in the league, I think, in the NHL at the moment. But he's very quick to point out, what about the other leagues that I've played in? I've learned a lot in the other leagues, and that seems to be rubbing off on guys. And you've already said in the show tonight that, there's a great chemistry in the room, and it's working on the ice and off the ice, and these veterans are bringing that solid approach that we had 3 years ago as well, perhaps.
Yeah, they do that, and as well as that, they have each player I find has a high level of personal pride. They all want to be contributors. They all want to play well every night, and when they don't, you can see their heads drop because they're frustrated with themselves. And I love that in a hockey player. I love a guy who is naturally competitive and likes to do well, likes to play well, likes to get on the score sheet. You know, my biggest challenge this year has been to sort out the pairings. Obviously, there's been, you know, chemistry, and we have 10 forwards most of the time. You know, the 12 that we wanted have never quite been there, and finding out these pairings and partnerships that work has been the biggest struggle. Obviously, we've had some chemistry with Bomber and Schultz and Kolnick and Moran, and they were doing well. Matthew and Clarkey were always good, but you're trying to, you know, you look at a four-line rotation, you're obviously looking for a top two line, a fourth line, and a third line, kind of a defending thing. But then again, that's not how I do things. I like, if I had four lines who could score goals, I'd be happy with that. You know, four lines who could score goals every night, and
but we had a lot of goal scorers like last week against Sheffield, and when the goals are coming in from different places, that makes life easier and happier.
Well, yeah, I mean, you look at Clarkey, Mac, and Matthew. I mean, you know, Matthew and Mac have never been perennial offensive players, but with Clarkey, they work. It always works. I mean, Clarkey works with players like that. You put Clarkey with Moran or Kolnick and Schultes and Bombers, and it never seems to go. And you know, it's odd the way sometimes chemistries and all these things build. But right now, I am happy with what we have. I find that depending on however I feel and however I shuffle the deck and throw three guys out there, they can do a job.
We've got to contend with the Schultz injury, and we've got to contend with Robert Farmer coming back from surgery. But we've just had half-term. We're hoping for fireworks this weekend after Halloween last weekend. But your half-term report on the Nottingham Panthers, I mean, every teacher always writes in the margin, could do better. Yeah. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think we've lost one game in regulation in the league. That's a phenomenal thing to do. Again, I talk about that high level of pride throughout the roster, the fact that they work hard every single night, the fact that they know they're never beaten, they can score goals at will, and it's a great team to be around. I actually am pretty happy with where we're at. It's a team that can win on a big Olympic ice surface. It's a team that can go into Cardiff, big physical games, and compete like Stars, and
they did so well a fortnight ago.
Yeah, and that's when you can do both those things, and you have a chance to win, and you can beat the good teams, and you can beat the not as good teams. That's a pretty good team.
You also know you're doing okay when coaches from other teams are asking for tickets to come and watch us when we're playing midweek. Yeah. We'll do a bit of a spying mission.
Well, you know, it's
a bit of a reconnaissance.
Well, I think they were coming to watch. They were coming to watch Edinburgh.
All right, Corey, that was great. Now, it's time for the awards. Belfast Saturday, firework weekend, come and have a ball with us. Flower Vision, our bouquet, our imaginary bouquet from Flower Vision. It's going to go to the same incident, ultimately. Did you have a nomination for this?
Joanne.
At last he's learned. It's taken you a couple of goes. Yeah. Right, so that's it. So Flower Vision sponsor the imaginary bouquet. The Jim Grice appliances at Sutton in Ashfield store. We got all the hoovers for the boys apart from anything else. Love that advert where they're doing the ironing and, you know, hoovering up. Dan Green hoovering up. You see, Dan Green, so versatile. Even does the hoovering
everything.
Up. Right. Had a few nominations for this week. Mm-hmm. You get your meat at Beedham's, don't you?
I do.
Right, we'll talk about that in a moment. First nomination, player sponsors. If you sponsor a player, part of the package, you get to come to training and watch the boys behind closed doors. It's such a rare thing to be allowed to do. But Matthew Myers, always best to take your skate guards off.
Oh, yeah.
He went flying onto the ice and snotted himself and skid to the far side. Reminded me of someone on a trial a couple of weeks ago, now plays for Brighton.
Reminds me of how he plays. Yeah. Sheffield game, you see him falling over on the goalie and cowbelling in the corner. It's awesome to watch.
So Matthew is in the front.
Yeah, always.
Then there's Beedham's.
Yep.
So Johnny Pushtai, the boss, says, I want a big pumpkin display to Steve Rudkin, the butcher. Mm-hmm. He said, I want it to look really scary. He wants the pumpkin to look really scary. Johnny was scared. Do you know what Steve carved in the pumpkin? 10% off. So Johnny was panicking. But you know what? I'm going to give the Flower Vision bouquet and the Grimaldi Clown Moment of the Week, sponsored by Jim Grice's, to the same incident. Did you see this on the NHL filming from the Pittsburgh Penguins? Their coach, who'd been there a long time, well respected, went back with another team, and he was trying to pass a puck over the glass to a little kid running down the stairs, and some clown comes forward, catches the puck, and goes and sits down.
Steals it from a kid.
Steals it from the kid.
Right.
Then they got him another puck, which was class. So the clown moment goes to the bloke who stole the puck, and the bouquet goes to Pittsburgh for not only getting the kid a puck, but then the mascot comes down and gives him a Cosby shirt.
That's cool. That's
class
cool.
act.
Yeah, classy.
Class act. You were a class act last weekend. As I say, it's bonfire night. This week, will there be fireworks? You may have heard on Panthers radio this week where Mika thought that meant we were actually setting off fireworks during the game. Finish. We explained that and redid the interview, but we think there might be some fireworks on the ice this week. We hope there will be. It was a great game to watch. The last two games have been great. We get lots of emails and messages saying, love the game, well done Panthers for winning. This weekend it's bonfire. Last weekend it was Halloween, and you did yourselves proud. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next week.